Listen, hooking up with somebody when they're partially or fully drunk or inebriated in whatever substance they're in and you're not, and it's not consensual, and when they're saying no, but they also can't handle themselves, and you manage to have sex with them, does not make it consensual, and you are next to a RAP. Hell, you are a RAP. I believe drunken sex is highly glorified, but nobody really talks about the repercussions. If you read in between the lines, how many times drunken sex is consensual? There are situations where it is, and there are couples, and there are people who are flirting with each other. I'm not talking about y'all. But there are men and women who make use of somebody's inebriated state of mind to fulfill their own desires. These people who can't control their urges, especially when they're drunk, and they think getting a woman drunk, getting a man drunk, or finding them drunk and then taking advantage of them is equal to them just having a good time last night and hey, let's move on with our lives. No. Nobody wants to touch this topic. Nobody wants to address it. And the person who is victim of it is coming out the next day or the next week not wanting to look stupid and dumb because, hey, why? Oh, I was drunk, or I was also enabling this person. Maybe not. Who knows? And this person is going to cash on that and capitalize on that and then turn around and ruin your name and then tell the world of how he had you, how she had you, or worse, how you came onto them. So bear in mind, drunken sex, having sex when high, who are not couples and in a relationship or whatever, having something going on with each other, situationship nowadays. I'm talking about people who don't know each other, or about a bugaboo who is so obsessed with this woman and man, she's just waiting for these people to slip up. And unfortunately, we live in a society where we can't openly talk about it if you and I have ever been victims of it. Why? Because the society would be like, why did you put yourself in a position like that? Why did you hang out with that guy or that girl? Why did you talk with that guy or that girl? Why did you dance or flirt with that guy or that girl? Well, if you are in a social setting, you don't know who you're hanging out with, but you are not doing that with an intention of wanting to sleep with this dirty man, sleep with this ugly ass woman. But at the end of the day, you don't know how obsessed they are with you. And so these people are low-key planning something or the other behind your back so that they can get in bed with you. Unfortunately, sometimes they think they can make a baby with you and forever have you. How many women do that? How many men do that? And they are low-class cheap men, cheap women. They will go around and tell the entire world of how they had you and it was consensual sex. And they will never bring it up. And at times, we don't know where these people want to stop with you. Either they just want to have you for the night or they want to build a bond with you. And if they know that you will never in your natural state of mind ever want to have to do anything with them, they can do whatever the fuck they want to build a bond with you. And the easiest way is to put a baby in you or have a baby by you. And you don't even know. You're not even in the right state of mind. Or they'll scam you. They can do whatever they want. They can give you some sexual health scare, diseases. And they target men and women who are inebriated, who they've always wanted to have something with. And this can be for years and years of plotting where you can slip up. Or this can be a damn stranger who just want to get with you. And this can be people that you know, but you don't give a fuck about. But these ugly ass men and women think of such low-level ways to get you because all they have is their urges. All they have is wanting to have you physically. And in a situation like this, you feel really lost and you don't feel that the society is going to help you because they will always think the negative. Why was she there? Why was he there in the first place? Why did they put themselves in that position anyways? Because they always think, and people always think, that it'll always be others, but never themselves. But in situations like this, you can't help because you're just having a good time. So while these people have their fun for the night and they go on with their life feeling like a king, like a queen, you sit there thinking, what the hell happened last night or last week or last month or 2 years or 10 years ago? You still sit with it sometimes because it was never really consensual and you never really spoke up because you really never thought that you would get the support anyways because you were also there. You were also kind of enabled, because nobody wants to see that you were just there to have a good time. You were not there for anything else. You were just in a social setting. But people refuse to think, because people think it can happen with her, it can happen with him, but if I was there, I would do it this way. No, you're just in a place where there was some low class bugaboo of a man or woman who cannot control their urges, and they go around painting the town red every time they go out. And honestly, when lines are so blurry between consensual and non-consensual sex now, because sex is so willy-nilly, just happens with anybody and everybody, because that level of value when it comes to sex is not there anymore. Some of us value it still, but many of us don't too. And therefore, this culture of hookup culture is so messed up, because men and women think that they can do whatever the hell they want, whatever the fuck they want, to get into a man's pants, to get into a woman's pants. And if that means by scheming them, by scamming them, or getting them drunk or inebriated, or catching them drunk or inebriated, is enough for them to build a bond with them, to build a relationship with them, to build something else that you never planned for. And that means a damn fucking baby. What are you going to do when that happens? How are you going to deal with a bugaboo like this? This is the person you want to end up with? And of course, while it's really difficult for us to even control who we are chatting with or getting involved with when we are in a inebriated state of mind, it's also on us to not get that inebriated, that somebody like this can't take control of us. Because at the end of the day, many of us have had hookups and in our stages of life when we were there, if you were. But if you're still doing that, just make sure that you don't get stuck in something that you are not ready for. Because there are many predators living around you who are just waiting for you to slip up. And as soon as you slip up, they can take advantage of it. And if they see you in a social setting like them, they can always tell the world, hey, she came on to me. We were in a social setting. He came on to me. We were in a social setting. And people are going to believe that. And you will not have the support that you thought you'd get. Situations when these people come around you again, just saying, I'm so sorry for what happened last night, what happened last week. That's fake. They don't give a shit. If they knew it was wrong, they would have never done it. Because bear in mind, not both of you were inebriated. You was inebriated. They were fine. They should have put you to bed, man or woman. But instead, they took advantage of you. But instead, they forced you into something that you didn't want to. And even if it wasn't a typical type of way, it happened in a way where you were not in the right state of mind. And you need to voice that. Moments like this, you can really see who is your friend. If your friend turns around and tells you, just chill, it's fine, just let it go, don't make a big scene out of it. Oh my God, you shouldn't have been drunk. Or at least you had a good time, bro. These are fake. Honestly, almost a decade ago, in my early 20s, when I got involved in a situation like this, I went and told my roommate / my best friend then about what happened. And she turned around and said, well, you shouldn't have been drunk so much. She didn't even give a about how I was feeling in that moment. And I carried that pain for years and years after, thinking it was my fault. So if anybody is in a place where you have dirty, stupid friends like her, who I had, or him, because men also are victim of women who go out with the sole intention of putting something in his drink tonight and let me go have sex with this guy, let me rob his wallet, let me rob his chains, let him put a baby in me, whatever it may be. These are low-class women who exist too. So if any situation like this, you don't need to safeguard somebody else's image. And if you are in a place today thinking, was it my fault? Did I deserve it? Was I also party to this? No, you are not. Just because it wasn't done in a typical way does not mean it was consensual. It was not consensual. And if there's any way that you can go out there and get some help, especially you will need some mental help if you can, or you need to be nice to yourself, because your whole outlook when it comes to sex really will get affected if this happens with you over and over again. If you don't stop it the first time and sit and think about why it happened and make some changes in your lifestyle, make some changes about who you surround yourself with and who's enabling this lifestyle, Because honestly, that feeling of something that is not consensual will eat you up inside. And when you wake up the next day, the next morning, if you ever happen to see them again, and if you do see them again over and over again, it's just so awkward and you just feel so small from inside, because it almost feels like somebody violated you. But you just don't speak up about it because you have this guilt of you being somewhat an enabler. And if you have people around you who don't really fully validate you, then that is a loss for you. And if there is somebody who actually validates your feeling, but is only barking and is only doing it for clout, but not really there to help you emotionally, mentally, and to help you talk you through it, but is just want to be a big mouth about it, what's the point of having them? So irrespective of people who understand you and don't understand you, if they are not going to help you in any way to understand that it is not your fault. So I'm here to tell you it's not your fault. And you really need to stop putting this under the rug and just continue with life like nothing ever happened, because it eats you up inside. And if it eats you up inside, and if you are somebody who's not okay with it, then don't be okay with it. And you don't need people around you who do not support you when something like this happened. You don't need hypocrites for friends. And you don't need people to tell you that you are in the wrong when you have been wronged. And those kind of men and those kind of women who can't control their urges and who think that they have the best DICK and the best PUSSY, they're delusionally, mentally people who are not even a match for you. And you wouldn't even look at them twice if you hadn't been inebriated. So when you're inebriated, you're not in the right state of mind. And that's when they could have you. How small are they? Call them out. Cuss them out if you need to, because they need to be. And if you have, let them go. Just bury them. Dead them. But at least make yourself understand that it was never your fault, because till you don't make peace with that constant thought at the back of your mind as to why it happened, nothing happened about it after, and you never did anything about it, it will eat you up inside. And if you don't want to do anything about it, you don't have to speak up about it. But at least you need to forgive yourself. At least you need to tell yourself it was never your fault. Because there are many men and many women who do it willy-nilly. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about you women and you men who would never want to build a bond with this dirty woman, with this dirty man. But they still tried to, even if it was for one night. Ew. The feeling of guilt will plague you. And as soon as you feel victim, and as soon as you feel that you shouldn't have enabled this woman, this man, you shouldn't have done this, shoulda, coulda, woulda. But nobody expected that. So if there is another man, another woman right now in your life who think that they have had sex with you and they are going and telling the whole world of how they had you, and if it wasn't consensual, don't feel bad about it. Out them. Let the world know of how small they are, of how lonely they are. And they are walking free today. And they are doing the same thing today with multiple other men, with multiple other women that they once did with you, with your friend, with their loved one. Until you keep quiet, nobody's going to know about them. So if you need to tell the world about what they've done, you better. And if it's happened with you, please forgive yourself, like I said. Because you don't want to waste another minute on low lives like these roaches. And if your support system is filled with people who are Miss Goody Two Shoes, men or women, and if they don't support you like they should, that's not a fucking friend. That's not a family member. That's not a fucking lover. So if they don't understand you, and if they think you're the problem, drop them like they never existed too.